Hello everyone, this is Troy Swope, founder of Footprint. Footprint is a technology company aimed at eliminating single-use plastics. How I got here, I'm originally from Intel. I spent 15 years developing semiconductor technologies. In the last 8 years, I was running a materials organization, and we saw significant impacts of plastic outgassing on wafers. So I started, when I sit at home and my wife would bring home groceries, I'd see this mountain of groceries in plastic, and I seen a lot of it in fruit. And I started thinking about all the outgassing that was happening on that fruit. And I started thinking about the human health impacts on that. So I grabbed a lot of really smart people and said, let's go address this problem, develop technologies that allow retailers and big brands to eliminate single-use plastic. So what is the plastic problem? I think it's obviously a pollution problem, and we need to come up with solutions for the immediate pollution issue. But I think you're all discovering today, and you're going to help educate the world on it. It's a health crisis. And I think for the most people I talk to, they think the health crisis with plastic is opening clamshells on Christmas morning where we're jabbing ourselves with scissors and knives. The reality is that we're getting the data and we're understanding more and more, like, why is there such an increase in type 1 diabetes? I have a young daughter, 13 years old, that was diagnosed 3 years ago with type 1 diabetes. And since 1950, plastic production has gone up 200%, and type 1 diabetes has doubled every 20 years since then. I didn't know anybody with type 1 diabetes, yet my daughter has 10 classmates with type 1 diabetes. So I think we're all getting that data, and hopefully there's more data today that we can share with consumers and share with retailers and brands, that there's far greater issue than a pollution problem with plastic. So when I talk to consumers and retailers and even friends, and they go, Troy, you're often using this term sea of plastic. Are you talking about the great garbage patch? And the reality is there is a physical sea of plastic that's hard to see in the ocean, but there is one, right? But I think of it differently, and I try to paint a vision for my team, is that the sea of plastic is when we walk into a grocery store and we see everything from laundry detergent to milk to dairy to meat trays to ready-to-eat meals to our bakery, everything's in plastic. So how do we escape the sea of plastic, right? So number one is that there's big brands out there making change. We need to reward them by buying their product, right? So when we see a Nestle product that is now in fiber or even glass or aluminum, we reward them by buying that product, right? When they see those sales, that the sales don't change or the sales actually increase by making a better packaging decision, they'll drive change faster. In addition to that, we got to provide them, technology companies like Footprint and other technologies, got to provide them with solutions that are cost effective, that equal the same product performance, because certainly we can't impact food shelf life or food spoilage. Two things, right? We got to help drive the change by rewarding brands that are making the right decisions, and then we got to provide the technology that enable them to make those decisions. So how is Footprint helping, right? So we are certainly a technology company that's providing those solutions. We are a clear leader. We have over 85 patents filed, 16 issued, over 4,000 invention disclosures globally. So in number one, we think about, we can't impact the end of life scenario, right? So we want compostable, we want biodegradable, we want recyclable, we want marine degradable. As I mentioned earlier, we have to develop the technologies for the brands, right? So these brands can make a change, right? And those technologies have to be cost effective or cost neutral to plastic today long term, and they have to provide the same performance, so the same shelf life. We can't impact food spoilage. So Footprint is developing the technologies that have the equal shelf life and are looking at long-term economics that are better than plastic. So companies like Footprint, we have to develop the technologies that enable the brands to get out of plastic, because today they feel trapped. So my parting thoughts, I really wish I was there. I love the data and information that's coming out. I think number one is when we get this data and this information, we got to get it out to consumers so that consumers are educated. And then when consumers are educated on what's really happening, what's the damaging health impacts of plastic, they can go to their favorite brands and say, change, you have to change. And then that may be part that we're driving legislation as well. But we have to get to the brands and say, I will not buy your product that's in this packaging. Well, everyone, I wish I was there with you, but I thank you very much for the time and an opportunity to speak with you. I look forward to meeting most of you over the next couple years as we're on this journey together.